Hello, welcome to Waypoint Survival. Today, I want to show you how to set up an 8x10 tarp in this classic configuration. Stay tuned. An 8x10 tarp is a great size for two people, or if you are out in the backcountry and you're expecting bad weather to come in. And so setting one up, there's a lot of different configurations for a tarp, and this is a very standard size. You can find 8x10 tarps all over the place, both in canvas as well as a poly tarp. This particular tarp was sent to me by White Duck Outdoors, and I'll make sure and put a link to their website down below. They wanted me to check it out and see what I thought and put it up, and so I've been messing around with it today and trying different configurations. And this is one that works extremely well for shedding water or in cold weather situations where you need a fire in front and you also want to do a little bit of cooking, but maybe you also have a partner with you and you want to have enough room for both of you. Now, an extra word about this particular tarp is that it's really heavy. It's 18-ounce canvas, and it's treated with a treatment that's similar to Sunforger canvas. But of course, this is in a nice natural tan color, and I really do like that feature about a lot. But it is very heavy because it is an 18-ounce canvas. The canvas by itself weighs almost 11.5 pounds. So that's a lot of weight, and it doesn't have any tie-outs in the center, which is something that I intend to talk to the company about. However, if you were in a long-term survival situation, or you wanted to pack something in your bug-out bag, or you wanted to just set something up and leave it out for a long time, this is going to handle whatever the elements can throw at it for a very long time. I mean, I can easily see you getting a couple of years of constant use out of something that is this durable. And of course, that's always the toss-up. Something that's very lightweight usually isn't very durable. When you go to get something that's going to last a long time, it's going to be heavy. But for what it does, it's a pretty well-made tarp, and I really do like the way that this sets up. And so this works out really great for that. So I'm going to lay this out, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. First thing we're doing in getting this tarp laid out is we're going to lay it out with the 10-foot section this way and the 8-foot section to the front and back. And I'm putting it to one side of my fire, and you'll see why here in just a little bit. But I'm just going to take a couple of stakes. I'm going to stake out not the center grommet, but the one on each side. And this tarp not only has grommets, but it also has loops that are tied in. The grommets are stainless steel and the loops are nylon. So the first thing I'm going to do, of course, here's the center grommet. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put this first stake in the ground, push it in, and then I'm going to pull this one tight. I'm going to do the same thing over here, making sure I've got plenty of tension between the two. And you can hammer these in or you can push them in with your foot. It's been pretty wet here, so we're going to do that first, and then we'll get to the next step. The next thing I'm going to do, I've got my 3 Army tent poles here from the shelter half system, which I like using, and then just a couple of more stakes. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put up my center pole. Of course, they just fit together like this. Then I'm going to bring this up just like that. I'm going to pull that tight. I'm going to take my other stake, and holding this with one hand, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to stake this out and push it in pretty far, just like that. And now when I put tension on this, that center stake will stay up, and I can pull this nice and tight and put it in the ground as well. All right, now we have the beginnings of our tent. As you can see, it goes up very quickly. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to put a short tent pole in the very back, so just one tent pole section. Now, I had to stake this out in order to put enough tension on the front to pull it. So there's not going to be a lot of room under here for me to put this stake. I can pull it up a little ways, but not as far as I need. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to pull this up, holding some tension on it, put the stake in, and then holding everything tight, go ahead and run that back into the ground. Just like that. Again, it's very easy to do. All right, now I've got the stake in here, but as you can see, we have very little tension on the top of the tent, and it's very floppy. So just got a short length of bank line and another tent peg here. I'm going to attach this to the top with a simple slip knot and stake it out. So I already have this length of line cut with a slip knot already on one end and a loop on the other. So all I have to do is put the stake in here, figure out about how far I want it, push it in the ground, and then drive it in. Now I've got pretty good tension on this part of the tent, and I can adjust this peg up and down a little bit, forwards and backwards, to add some tension should I need it. That's pretty tight. That'll do. Now that I've got that staked in, I'm going to take this and I'm going to roll this underneath. This is going to give me a little extra space for my gear and also straighten up the lines of the tent. And you can reach into the back here and you can grab a hold of that, and that will help you straighten it out as well. Do it like that. We'll do the same thing to the other side and I'll get back with you. Alright, so we've got the tent pretty well set up, but as you can see, we've got quite a sag in the middle. And that's pretty typical. Like I said, this does not have any loops in the center, and it does need that in order to set up in a lot of the configurations that we bushcrafters and guys that are practicing our survival skills like to use. But it's very easy to remedy. Since the fire is to one side of our entrance, we can run a simple guy line. I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so I've got just a short length, maybe 7 foot here of bank line, and I'm just going to hook it on the top pin here from the army stake, and I'm going to pull it down like this, figure out about where I want it. I'm going to go beside my fire pit, and I'm going to run a stake in the ground. Alright, now, I want to put quite a bit of tension on this. I want to pull it pretty hard. I'm going to come down here and wrap it around my stake. Alright, and it's got good tension on it. As you can see, we've taken most of that out of the tent. However, we do still have a little bit of slack now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust one of the front pegs. I'll adjust the one on the other side, and that will go ahead and finish flattening and straightening everything out. Just going to pull this up, put some tension on it, run it into the ground. All right, there we go. Now everything is really nice and strong. Everything's got good tension on it. We're ready to go. One final procedure. I'm going to put my ground mat that I made inside. Another nice feature of this tarp is that on each 4 of the outside corners you have this sewn on reflective tape, and that will help you, of course, see the edge of your tarp at night, kind of keep you from stumbling over it. Now ideally, when you set this kind of configuration up, and of course we've got our guy line right here in the front, we want the fire more to one side because that gives us access over here without crawling right beside the fire, because obviously that's going to cause some issues. But this leaves one side open, the fire over here, still have plenty of room to get in and out and reach out and cook on the fire if we need to. We can still feel some of the heat from the fire, so it's going to be quite sufficient for what we need. So I'm going to go ahead and climb in here and I'll show you how big it is. Really a lot of room. There's plenty of headroom for what I need to do. And stretch out full length. Got plenty of room. The back of my feet, so I'm not sticking out either way, because again, this is an 8x10 tarp, so it's plenty big enough. Enough room for another person over here, and we're still covered sufficiently on both sides. So here we are, got everything set up, got a nice fire going, sun's going down, and everything's ready for us to just enjoy the evening, have a great night at camp. This is a great classic canvas tarp setup. I'm making an A-frame type tent, but the way it's designed, it will shed rain and snow and anything else that the weather could throw at you. So heavy duty tarp, check out their product, and like I said, I'll make sure and put a link in the description box down below. This is James Bender for Waypoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also make sure and check out the links in the description box below. And while you're down there, make sure and check out the Teespring link, which is located just below the description box. There, you'll find great Waypoint Survival merchandise, which goes to help support the channel and the ongoing research that we do to bring you great video content. Also in the description box, you can find other ways that you can support the channel, including our Patreon link. And we really appreciate everybody that supported us throughout these last several years and helping us grow the channel to the point where we are. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you next time.